Hello everyone, in today's tutorial I will show you how to create a pickupable note system inside of Unreal Engine 5. So this is a Outlast style picking up system. So once you click on the interaction key, you will actually pick it up with a sound effect and a animation, and then if we lay it down, it reappears on the table and it plays a animation for going down. So it looks very good and very nice. So let's start. Okay, so what we'll do first is to create a folder. So right click, new folder, and call it notes. Then we want to go into the folder, and in here we want to import all of our notes, or just only one note that we will be using in this system. So I've just downloaded a note, so I will just drag it in, and as you can see I've just imported my note, and this note is from Outlast, so it isn't mine, but it will work for this video, but you can have your own notes. Okay, so now once you imported your note, we want to go to the first person folder, blueprints, and into the BP first person character. And in here we will create the interaction system, but if you already have a interaction system, you don't need to do this. And I have also done a video on this, but let's just make it a bit short right now. So first of all, we want to right click, and I want to have the interaction key to be E, and then just scroll down until you see the E key right here. And out of the pressed, we want to get a line trace by channel, just like that. And then we want to drag out our first person camera, and I want to get world location, and the get world location will go into the start of the line trace. Then out of the first person camera, we want to drag out and get world rotation, and then out of here we want to get forward vector, and then out of here we want to multiply, and then if you're in Unreal Engine 5 you want to right click on this and you want to convert it to a float, so to float single precision, that one. Then the value we want it to be let's say 200. So this means that how far you need to stand for the object to pick it up. So 200 is a very good value. And then out of here we want to add, and we can just take away you and drag you in there, just like that. And then the return value will go into here, so it looks like this. And then the add will go into the end of the line trace. And then want to go up here, drag out of here and get a branch, and the condition will be the return value. And then out of the out hit, we want to break hit result, and then click on this arrow and we want to drag out of here. But before we do that, we want to create a blueprint interface. So compile and save, go out, and then in the blueprint we want to just right click, go to blueprint, add a blueprint interface, and we will call this interaction interface. Then we can just go into it, and then we want to rename the new function to interaction. And as I said, I have done a video on this which I explain in much more detail, so go check that out if you want to see in much more detail, but right now we're just doing it a bit quick for the video purpose. So once we've done that, we can go to our event graph again. So now our hit actor, we want to call the blueprint interface we just made. So interaction, this one right here, and this is the blueprint interface we just made, and the true of the branch will go into the interaction. So now we have our interaction system that you can use on every blueprint and every interaction system that you have in your game. So if you want to pick up a flashlight or a note or maybe open a drawer, you can use this interaction system always. This isn't just for the note pickup. So once we've done that, we can just highlight it, click on C and rename it to interaction system, just like that. Compile and save. And now let's continue with the actual video. Okay, so what we'll do now is to go into our notes folder and then want to create a new blueprint. So right click, blueprint class, actor, and want to call it note 1. And we're calling it 1 because we can use more notes than 1 in our game, so we can just duplicate this and change the 1 to 2 and so on, so we don't only have to use 1 note. Okay, so once you added the blueprint, we want to go into it and then we want to go to the viewport. Okay, so now we will import our note. Okay, so my note is just an image, so I will need to add a cube and then apply the image on the cube. But if you have a static mesh, you can just import your mesh note into here. But I don't have a mesh, I just have an image, so I will add a cube and I will call it note. Then I will just scale it as thin as possible, like that, maybe a little bit thicker. Yeah, that looks good. And then I want to just scale it down like that and right there. And this looks like a good size note. And now let's just add the image. So I will go to my notes, I will right click and create material, and I will call it note 1. Then just I will drag this onto the material, just like that. So now as you can see, I have my note applied to the cube. I can just compile and save. So now you can actually place the note anywhere in your level. So compile and save. And I want my note to be right here, so I will just drag it out, place it right there and lay it like that so it looks more realistic. And as you can see, my note is extremely big, so I will just go into the blueprint again and I will just scale this down to about there, compile and save, and that looks much better. So if we play, we can run up to the note and I can look at it, but I can't actually pick it up. So let's do that right now. Okay, so in the note blueprint, we want to go to class settings and we want to add the implemented interface. So add, and then we want to add the interaction we just made earlier. So interaction interface. And as I said earlier, you can use your own interaction system, but I will use mine in this video. So let's add this interaction interface we made earlier, just like that, and then we can just compile and save. And now we can just close out of here, and then we want to right click, create a user interface and a widget blueprint, user widget, and then just call it note widget. Now let's go into it, and then we want to add, so search for canvas panel and just drag it in, just like that. And then we want to add our note, so our image. So let's just search for image and drag it in. Then just scale it to how you want it, so like that, looks good. Okay, so now we want to add our note to this image. So let's click on this image, then drop down the brush menu, and then we can just drag in our note to the image, just like that. And now as you can see, our note is on the image material. Then you can just change it around to have it just as you like it. And also make sure to go to anchors and just choose the one in the middle, so this note will be in the middle of every screen. And now, after we added our note, we want to add the blur in the background. So just search for blur and just drag it in. Then we want to scale it bigger than the actual canvas panel. And make sure the anchor is in the middle as well on the background blur. And then we can actually change the blur strength to about 3 or 2. And as you can see, the background blur actually blurs our note. So let's just drag the blur under our note, just like that. As you can see, now we have our note and the background blur. So compile and save. Okay, so now once we're done here, we can just close out of here. And then we want to go into our Note 1 blueprint again. And then into the event graph. And in here we can just delete all of these 3 events and add our own. So right click, and we want to add the interaction system that we made earlier. So event interaction, but you can use your own interaction system. And then out of here we want to get the flip-flop, and out of the A value we want to create new widget, and the class will be our note that we just made. So note widget, and then the return value will be add to viewport, just like that. Compile and save. So now we have this code done, but if we pick it up we can still walk around and look around, but we don't want that. We only want the player to stand still. So we want to add our controller, so get player controller, and then out of the return value we want to set ignore look input, and also set ignore move input. So now we can't walk around or look around once we are viewing the note. So compile and save. So now once we added these two, we want to just tick this box in both of them. And then out of here, the return value, we want to remove from parent. And then we can just copy these two and drag you into there. And then the target of these two will be the get player controller, so just like that. Then we can just double click on the line to make it a little bit nicer. Just like that. So now once we've done that, we want to go to the flip-flop again, and the B value will go into the remove from parent. And what this does is that when we click on the note one time, we will actually view the note and play this code. And then when we click on the E key again, we will remove the note from our parent, so us, and then we can move around. So just untick these two boxes, and then we can just move around as usual. And this is the code for picking up the note. Okay, so now once we've done all that, we want to add the note pickup sound. So when you pick up the note, it will actually sound like you're picking up the note. But if you don't want this, you can just skip this step. But I think it's more realistic when you have a sound while picking up the note. So let's go to the beginning of the code. And then out of the A value, we want to play sound at location. Then just copy it and do the same for the B value. Then just drag you into the remove from parent again. And the location will be the note. So drag out the note, get world location, and the return value will go into both of the location, just like that. And then we want to add our sounds. So if you already have your sounds, you can just select it, but I don't have mine, so I will just import them right now. And I will just import my sounds, just like that. So now we have our pickup sound and this sound. And you can add how many notes you want, but I will choose these two only. So now we want to just highlight both of these, right click, create single queue, and then want to go into it. And now as you can see that these two sounds have been set to a random node, so when picking up the paper, a random sound of these two will play. But of course I only have two sounds, so it will sound much better if you have multiple different sounds, because then it will just take a random sound and play it, so it doesn't get so repetitive. So anyways, click on the override attenuation and just set the inner radius to about 100 and the follow distance to about 1000. Oh. Just like that. Then we can just play it to hear how it sounds. Okay, so now we're done here, so you can just go out and then go to our note blueprint again, and now we can just add the sound cue we just made, so just drag it in. Just like that. Now just compile and save, and let's try it out. Okay, so now we can click on play, and if we go up to the note, click on E, you can hear that we actually have the sound. Just like that. But now we actually need to make the animation for it going up, because right now it's just popping up on the screen and it doesn't look that realistic and good. So let's do that right now. Okay, so what we'll do is to go into our note widget, and then we want to go to the animations. We want to add the animation, and we want to call it pick up note. Then just click on the animation we just made. Okay, so we want our background blur to fade in, and we want the note to come up like that. So just click on the note, add a track, the image 0, because it is called image 0, and then we want to change the location, so the note will start down here and it will end up here, so you can actually see it on the screen. So what we'll do is to transform it, so add a track, transform, and now once you added that, you want to just drop it down, go into translation, and then we want to change the y-axis, because that is up and down. So it will start about down there, like that. So just set the value to about 1000. Okay, so now once the value is 1000 or whatever fits you, we want to drag this to about 1 second, and this is how long it's going to be to pop up on the screen. And I want it to take about 1 second for the note to actually come up on the screen, and we will be able to view it. So I will just change this back to 0 again once I have the arrow at 1 second. So let's change it back at 0. And now as you can see, we have this nice animation when it's going up. So if we play it, you see it goes up like that. And now once we've done the pickup note, we want to also change the background blur. So let's just drag our arrow to the beginning. Want to add a track. Want to add the background blur. So just click on the background blur, and then just add a track and select the background blur, just like that. Then want to add a track, and the track will be blur strength, and the blur strength at the beginning will of course be 0, and then when we were viewing the note, so at 1 second, the blur strength will be 2. So now as you can see, the note is going up and the blur is fading in, so it looks like this. So compile and save, and now want to do the same thing but reverse it for putting it down. So let's create a new animation. Let's call it lay down note, and now we're going to do the same thing. So we want to add a track, and the track will be background blur. Want to click on this add track right here. I want to change the blur strength from 2 to 0, so it will take 1 second to lay down the note. So at 0, the beginning, this blur strength will be 2, and at the end, so when it's laid down, it will be 0, so we can't actually see the blur anymore. As you can see, it works. And then let's do the same for the note. So just click on the note, go to track, image 0, or whatever your name is. Then just add a track, and we want to change the transformation, so transform right here. Then just drop it down, translation, and the Y will be set at 1000 at the end, just like that. So now, as you can see, we are laying it down. So we have the pick up note animation, and we have the lay down note animation. So now we can just compile and save. Okay, so now we want to go into the event graph of the widget, so graph. And then once we're in here, we want to delete event tick and delete event pre-construct, and we just want to have this. So drag out of here and play animation forward, just like that. And the in animation will be the pick up note, and just drag it into the in animation. And now if we just compile and save, you can actually see how it looks. So let's go to the note, pick it up. You can see we have this animation for picking it up, and it looks very good. Maybe this is too slow for you, but I like it. But if it is too slow, you can just change it. But as you can see, when we lay it down, it just pops away. So let's just add that real quick as well. So what we'll do is to add a event custom. So add custom event, and we can call it lay note down. And then out of here, we want to play animation reverse. And I just remembered that we don't actually need the lay down note, because it is exactly the opposite of the pick up. So we can just play the same animation but reverse it. So let's go into the designer tab, go to animations, and we can just delete this animation laid down note, just like that. So now compile and save and go to the graph again, and then the in animation will be the pick up note. So compile and save, and then over the play animation reverse, we want to add a delay. That is the duration will be 1 second, because it takes 1 second to pick up the notes. But if yours take about 0.5 seconds to pick up, we want the duration to be 0.5 seconds. But mine is 1 second. And over the completed, we want to remove from parent. Then just compile and save, and we're all done in here. And now to get it working, we want to go into the note blueprint. We want to delete the remove from parent, and instead we want to drag out the return value and use the custom event we just made. So lay note down, then just drag you into there and you into the B value, and you into there. And now we're done with that. But if we want the note to actually disappear from the table when picking it up, so as you can see now, when I pick it up, you can see that the note is still on the table. But as we pick it up, we want it to disappear, so it looks much more realistic. So, well, how do we do that? Well, it's actually very easy and only takes a few minutes to do. So go to the event graph again, and then we want to drag out the note. We want to drag out here and set visibility. We want to copy it, and this will go into the target, and then you will go into there, and then you into there. So now, once we pick up the note, we want it to disappear, so the new visibility will be off. And then once we lay down the note, we want the note to reappear again, so new visibility will be on. So now let's just try it out. So compile and save. Now if we go to the note, pick it up, it disappears, and then if we lay it down, it reappears. So yeah, it looks very good. And that is how you create a pickupable note system in your game, and you can add how many notes you want. You just need to copy this one and duplicate it and change the image and everything. So yeah, that's how to create a pickupable note system in Unreal Engine 5. I hope you liked this tutorial, and I am sorry for not uploading much, but I will try to upload more, one video every month. And guys, thank you for all the support, for keeping the Discord server alive and the YouTube channel alive. I love you guys. So yeah, don't forget to join the Discord as well. And that's all. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I hope you liked it. And if you have any problems, just type them in my Discord, or just type them in the comments. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.